They gonna feel me, family. Welcome back to another episode 25. I think I did that backwards on the camera, but it don't matter. You know it's episode 25, the former Ben Simmons. You feel me? We back with another one. Like we always say, y'all see that thing scrolling at the bottom underneath Al and Reezy? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it so yo mama can see it, so yo auntie can see it, so yo grandma can see it. Shout out to the great grandmas out there. We finna get into this episode. I'm your host today, your boy Jawan. I'm gonna hit him with that right. You feel me? I got my boy Robert, aka Stepmaster Yamakal. You feel me? I got my boy Reezus right below me, ready to get on them keys, make them keys work, pitch them keys, whatever you want to do. I don't care. It don't matter. And I also got my boy Al C. He was traded to the Nets. Now he got technical difficulties, but he's back. That's the only thing that matters. You feel me? So we about to get into these topics, man. We about to get into these topics. Starting with your boy Kanye. He's had a lot of things going in the news, but as of late on Netflix, he has a documentary. It's going to be a 3-part documentary, and this is starting off in the beginning with his introduction to the game, how he came into the game and everything. I know some of you guys have watched it in full. I will say I'm one that has not. I've heard some good things about it, about him getting started and everything. But fellas, for those who have watched it, give me some insight. Let the people know what y'all think and what they could be looking forward to when they go and watch it if they haven't.
For me, I think it was enlightening, but also provided confirmation because of one of our previous episodes, which you can see if you click on that card up there, where we discussed and talked about Kanye in the verses, his need for acceptance, and you can see it really, really clear in the first part of this documentary, where it chronicles him going from people or person to person trying to get a deal when he left Chicago. No matter who it was, it just showed that he had it was something in him that just needed the affirmation. Like, hey, I want to belong to something. I want people to feel me, to understand me. Just a need, and um, it was kind of sad to a certain extent because okay, we've all heard the story of the person that wants to kind of get on the grind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But in watching that first part, man, it was kind of heartbreaking, and you kind of felt bad for him when you see how certain people played him to the left. You know what I'm saying? Where they like almost kind of like little boyed him, or like used him like, hey, let me get your beats. That's all we want from you. We don't want nothing else. We don't want nothing else from you. We just want your beats. And looking at him like putting him in that box, like that's all you can do. The little quirky, eccentric kid that make good beats. That's all we want you to do. So that's one of the first things that stuck out for me. I let Reese talk about some of the things that he saw.
For me, I mean, I honestly didn't get that from the series. It was kind of like almost like a breath of fresh air, and it kind of shone a new light on Kanye for me. Like it kind of brought me back to that feeling I had when Kanye first came out and the artist that he was back then. It kind of brought me back to that state of mind, when thinking about Kanye, seeing him making, music like Jesus Walks and It All Falls Down, and like him just vibing, seeing how creative he was, how passionate he was about his craft, and how hard he had to try to become that rapper that he wanted to be. Because like Rob said, the people like Dame and Jay-Z and other execs from other record labels played him to the left. They kind of looked over him. They didn't want to sign him, even though he was one of the hottest producers and still one of the hottest producers in the industry today. They just kind of overlooked him as a rapper. They didn't take him seriously. And, I guess me being, a former musician or artist, you know, I kind of get it. I understand, like, it's a grind. Like, people think that it's easy to become a rapper, a mainstream artist. It's not. You know, you see that you think that people have overnight success, but guys like, even like the baby, when he popped out and people was like, where did this guy come from? His out, like, those songs have been out for years, but people just didn't know about him. You know what I'm saying? Until one day it just clicked and everybody was like, oh, this guy's fire. Like, this guy's, you know, got what it takes. And going back, that's the same situation with Kanye. I mean, the thing that was so funny to me is he was playing All Falls Down in the studio, in a record label in Rockefeller. This was one of the biggest records that he's ever had. And people was just like, when he was playing and he was rapping to him, they was just like ignoring him. They was doing other stuff. They was talking to people.
Yeah.
Like, they was just like, man, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? They was like, oh, it sounds good, but, you know, it's okay. And it was all because at that time, that wasn't the type of music that people was really listening to or receptive of or thought that could be mainstream music. They didn't think that type of music was going to sell records at that time. Because when you look at the music that was out then, it was Jay-Z, it was like Nas, it was like guys that was really street hardcore, like rapping about, you know, selling narcotics or killing people and stuff like that. And Kanye was more of like he was like more of a backpack rapper. He kind of combined everything into one, but he rapped about stuff like outside of the box, like Jesus, like, you know, talking about fashion, talking about like black people and the problems in the black community. And it's kind of funny when you think about it. It's like this guy was talking about some real stuff, but they didn't take him
Nobody want to hear it. Yeah.
Let
I
me
remember
ask you this, though. Let me
I
ask you
remember
this.
hearing that though as well. When I was watching, I'm gonna let you get into what you're saying, Rob. But I remember hearing when I was listening to the Breakfast Club one morning. I think it was right after it came out. I was listening to the Breakfast Club, and they was talking about that actual moment that you speaking about, Reezy. They was just saying how iconic it was. That was literally one of the best songs. You can go and people can quote that song from beginning to ending, but you know, they was looking at him like, bro, who is this? And how some people, how Angela was saying that, she was like, you know, they was probably just looking at him like, oh, well, you know, we know he's producing for Jay and all of them, but, you know, he always talk about how he can spit, but we ain't listening to it. And it's like, I wonder how them folks feel now, knowing like, damn, this nigga, he really was in here, you know, spitting bars and put one of the hottest songs in front of us, and we was literally just ignoring them. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like watching that. I mean, it ain't even that song. Like, another moment was when he invited Scarface to the studio to be on Jesus Walks.
Jesus Walks.
Yeah, and Scarface was like, he wasn't feeling the song. And then he played Family Business,
It seemed like he was more feeling family business than he was
that,
Jesus Walks.
That happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? That happens. Like, you may put on a track and an artist just, that ain't his type of song. You know, that's not a type of vibe that it may be a great song, but it's just not for him. I understand it, but it's just kind of funny because Jesus Walks is another like iconic song. And when you think of Kanye West, you think of Jesus Walks. So,
But
you know,
I mean, just to speak on that one, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I kind of see it worked out for the best because I just really can't see Scarface on Jesus.
yeah, I mean,
Jesus Walks.
but well, you could flip it though. You could flip it and you could be like, what would it have sounded like with Scarface on it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, would it have been a dope record? With we'll never know. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah.
But other thing I was gonna bring out that it provided a glimpse to that not a lot of people saw, and I think it helps unlock some of the mystery or thought process behind him. But did you see the relationship between him and his mom?
His mom, yeah.
That was to me, that was kind of really eye-opening because it looked like she was his biggest
rock.
cheerleader.
She was there for him.
The biggest cheerleader.
Wasn't she like his first manager or something like that?
I believe so. She was his everything, man. Like, and that's why I kind of believe, like, after she passed, like, things for him just mentally just went downhill. You know what I'm saying? Like, because she was a big part of his life. Like, looking at that documentary and watching their relationship, like I said, it just, I don't know, man. It just made me feel a different type of way. I'm not taking away from the stuff that he's done, you know, recently or in the past, you know, few years. I'm not saying I'm not forgiving any of that stuff, but I'm just saying, like, looking at this documentary, it kind of gives me an understanding as to why he's the person he is today. You know what I'm saying? Like looking back, all the stuff that he's been through, and then he loses his mom, you know, on top of it. He's been in a car accident, damn near lost his life. Like, the dude's been through a lot of stuff. I'm not, no, everybody's been through stuff, but you know, a dude of his caliber, like, it's kind of understandable in a way. And to me, this documentary also provides positivity to people who are striving to be, not even just be a rapper or be an artist, but when you see how hard Kanye worked, to know that he went through all those things to get where he is today, and he believed so wholeheartedly in what he was going to be. He even said it. He's like, one day I want to be able to drop the West from my name and just be Kanye. Look at him today.
But the thing,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
the
It
one other
provides,
thing I'll say before LC goes though is it takes. I'm gonna give somebody else some love too. It takes an incredible belief or incredible foresight for Cootie to decide, hey, I'm gonna
yeah,
put
yeah, yeah.
down everything I'm doing and I'm gonna record this footage because to have the thought that hey, this kid is gonna break
Grow up.
big
Yep.
and to get all that footage is invaluable. I mean, just the fact that he got all the footage that he got, the stuff that the never before seen, you know, the never before seen stuff, man, that is nuts that he has over 20 years of stuff documented. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy. It's kudos to that man. Like, you know, this is like, I don't know, man. Like, this, I can tell this documentary is gonna be one for the ages. It's gonna be really special, you know. And I wish we had more footage like this. I wish I could. I want to see, you know, how artists like my favorite artists like Jay-Z, you know, like, or, you know, other artists, you know, like, hell, J. Cole, Kendrick, you know, of today. I would love to see how they came up and see the backstory behind a lot of people. And maybe this will inspire people to start recording those type of things. Like, hey, let's get footage of my upbringing because I know I'm about to be some blow up, you know. But again, like, man, like, just seeing how hard he worked, seeing his relationship with his mom, and just seeing the stuff that he's been through. And I don't know, it was just like, man, it just like got me in this like good spirits, man. Just watching it, hearing the music again, like hearing the old school Kanye music. It was like I never heard it before because I was just so excited to hear him. And I think it was just because seeing him actually make the music again as an artist, like seeing another artist and how they like seeing their craft and how they make music is just special to me. You know what I'm saying? I love seeing how artists make songs, and it's just something that's intriguing to me. So just seeing like him in the studio rapping like the bars to All Falls Down or Through the Wire, like, you know, or Jesus Walks, this, it was dope as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing those sessions, like, that's crazy, bro. Like, so props to Cootie for getting all that footage, man. That's dope, bro.
So I'm gonna approach this from probably a completely different. I hate that y'all said all that because like I completely feel different. So from my understanding of this documentary, it's supposed to be three parts, and it was a bunch of recorded video that's been compiled over some time. It was originally supposed to come out, I think, way early. Like it was like supposed to be a documentary that followed, I think, Jesus Walks or something like that. Like and but it's been compiled over this time to kind of show the, I don't know, it's like a love letter to the old Kanye. And, you know, while what I will not take away from this documentary is I want to take away that drive, that message of if you believe in yourself, then sometimes you have to motivate and believe in yourself and continue on and push on and see the vision, even if people don't see the vision like you see the vision. But I just refuse to support anything with Kanye West in it at this given point in time, based on how I feel right now. It's kind of like that's a great message, and like, I mean, you can paint whatever picture of Kanye West and his career, and it plays on like my emotions, because like I used to love Kanye. Like, he is the sound of a lot of my college experience. But we talk about Kanye West in the context of this particular documentary, but let's talk about Kanye West, the man, right now. This documentary is going to touch on like his, not only the beginning of his career, but also all the way up until his failed presidential candidacy, that like in his transition into like this Republican figurehead and what have you. And I can't help but think about, like I said, the man that Kanye West is right now, the man who's, for all intents and purposes, seems as if like he's off his shit. He's low key abusing, like using social media to kind of attack and abuse his soon to be ex-wife and her boyfriend. Like, it's kind of like, even the concept of Jeen Yuhs, like the terminology of even the name, it's kind of like it's what we've been doing to Kanye West this entire time. We've been enabling bad behavior. This dude who is egotistical, this dude who is a fucking megalomaniac, whatever you want to call it, like this dude who, like, his focus on himself is so fucking inflated, to feed into that by calling him a genius, to almost absolve him of his bad behavior by talking about the struggle that it took to get here. Fuck this nigga. Like, there's not enough people who are willing to come along and say fuck this nigga, because he is not who we thought he was. He is in that documentary, that's who we thought he was. He's metamorphosized into somebody completely different. He is abusive. He is like he's egotistical. He is a poster child for somebody who needs to get therapy. He is everything but, like, I ain't gonna say he's everything but a genius, but like he's a self-aggrandizer who basically, if like all you do is feed into his ego, he ain't never gonna see a reason to ever change. Like, I mean, you can say, it's just trolling, he's just this. Like, for all we know, this nigga could be the next OJ. He could kill the shit out of Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. And I mean, that might seem like a stretch for some people, but it's like supporting a person who clearly ain't all the way there, who keeps on saying these things. He knocking down one thirsty ass chick. I don't know what Julia Fox is getting out of like a relationship where like somebody is fucking her one day and then like, basically saying, I want my wife back the next day. But like, I mean, the stuff that he does in his personal life and social media, the kind of person he is, we don't need to support that. We just don't. I don't care what his message is. That's like saying, we like that. It's almost like a version of like what we've been doing to R. Kelly all this time. Like, just because he was a talented ass brother, like we want to ignore all the other red flags that like are out there, rather than focus on the fact that, hey, maybe we need to think about this within context. Like, it's like I will never support Kanye West, but based on the kind of person he's turned into, like that's it. I don't want to go too deep on this because like I feel like I'm on a soapbox. But like, I mean, that's me. I'm like, this nigga already. When I said that he's dead to me,
you went down the rabbit hole.
Like, I don't know what's ever gonna change.
I mean, I was just gonna let you keep cooking because you would turn the oven up to, what I'm saying, like 4,000 degrees. I'm like, just keep cooking, man.
Oh man.
But I mean, I don't think. I mean, even after you said all that, I still don't. I mean, I don't think anybody absolves him from any of the bad behavior. I mean, It's just a documentary that people like, hey, he's a talented brother. I mean, that's it. But at the end of the day, you cannot take the fact away that he is musically talented. Okay, there are a lot of people out there that are talented in whatever their profession is,
and they also
but they are terrible people.
Yep.
They're terrible
Yeah,
people.
true.
I mean, and like you said with R. Kelly, ain't nobody going out to buy no R. Kelly CD right now like they used to.
Some
Because
people
they
will
think,
though.
I said like they used to. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody going out there doing that. Like ain't nobody checking for R. Kelly like they used to once they
I
found
mean,
out
I
all this.
would say
they
more
found out
people
all
are
this
checking
stuff.
for Kanye West than.
But the narrative that I don't
Right.
like is when we focus so much on the artistry and the talent of the brother that we start like basically almost absolving him of the bad things that he has done. Like
No,
people will do that. That's
but
just
you
that's
keep
how
saying
human beings
you
work.
keep
It's
saying
like,
that though.
he
But
ain't that
is
bad.
he
It's like,
president?
yes, he's that bad.
No,
Say
I'm
that
saying
shit.
you keep saying that, but dog, maybe 3 folks in a partridge in a pear tree voted for that nigga for president. They ain't nobody vote for that nigga. They don't care.
They didn't vote
Ain't
for that
nobody
nigga, but
vote for him.
they still buying his music. They still like buying his shoes. Like, I mean, there's like no one is condemning him to the point where he has to basically, as an individual,
I
turn back
mean,
and look at myself and be like,
I
you know
guess
what?
you could look at that. You could look at that like a bunch of different ways. Because if we're gonna go down that rabbit hole, then we could talk about all the people that support Gucci. We could talk about the people that still buy from H&M. We could talk about, it's been several people who have done some shit and they are not our skin complexion, but we still go support them. So at least Kanye West is a brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Can
But a brother who has abandoned black
I
women
get
to
it.
like run to white women.
I get
Like
it. I
that's
get it.
another
I
thing we don't never
understand.
talk about.
I
This
understand.
Y'all,
dude, like
I'm
the
just saying, if
love
we're
you
gonna,
just
he
hate the
has for
dude.
white
You
if
women
just
we're
hate
gonna
the dude.
absolve,
You
if
just
we're gonna
crazy to me.
if we're gonna absolve people of other races for doing some shit against our race, and we can't absolve this man, we got problems that's deeper than Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just my personal opinion. Because we'll go buy some fucking Gucci because of the name, and the motherfuckers don't care 2 shits about us. Don't give a fuck about us at all. They'll probably kick your ass out the store if you don't look like you got enough money. You know what I'm
Didn't they
saying?
just with Jim Jones? You know,
Yeah,
Jim
That
Jones
was
is
Dior. That was Dior.
whole situation, and he a rapper. Like he you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like I'm not absolving Kanye West. I know the brother got issues with his wife, his kid, all that stuff. It was a point in time where I couldn't stand Kanye West. I would not listen to his music at all. You know what I'm saying? But then I had to kind of think like, hey, but I mean, like, and we put him on a level of with R. Kelly. That's just like 2 totally different planes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Fair.
Why are we lumping them together? That don't make no sense. Like,
Because they from the same city, man.
You know what I'm saying? This nigga done molested little kids and shit, bro. Like, that's not the same. It's not the same thing. Like,
Fair.
let's stop mentioning them together. They don't deserve to be in the same category. But I mean, like, I get it. I understand. Like, he has some things that he needs to work on. Will he ever work on them? I don't know. But it's some crazy ass geniuses out here, bro. It's some people that make beautiful stuff, beautiful work, from like paintings to music. You know what I'm saying? To just having ideas, like, you know what I'm saying, or businesses. And they're the most corrupt people ever. Like, but they've brought some of the best things to our society. So I mean,
Like
it
Bill Cosby.
bro. Like, it comes with the territory. I mean,
Ding, 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 ding. All right. That bout is over. Shit. Damn. Going on to the next topic. I don't even know if we can continue the show. We might as well cut it off there. Going on to the next topic. Bel-Air thoughts. Again, this is a show that I have not watched yet, so y'all forgive me for not having that much to say. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. Fellas, y'all watched it. What you think about the show? Let us know. I saw some of y'all put something in there about the new Hillary. How she look? Let's talk about it. Is Carlton on track?
Man, I'll be the first person to say this. When we had we talked about, our thoughts going into it. I was one of the ones that was like, man, I don't know, dog. The first one was a comedy. How y'all gonna go serious with it? But I'm gonna keep it real.
It was fire.
That's your fire.
That shit fire.
that soundtrack was so hard when that just came out.
I ain't gonna lie, dog. I watched the first episode and like crack. I'm sorry, I was hooked. I went on to pay that money, man. I went on to pay Peacock. I'm sorry, I paid them. I did it. I did. I stopped being cheap. I went on and forked over that funky $5, dog. I'm sorry. I gave it to him.
Hey, you and me both. Listen, man. I knew once the show came on and I heard the soundtrack, bro. I was just like, this gonna be fire. It was yeah, they played Freeway. I was like, this shit gonna be fire. They played J. Cole. I'm like, yeah, they got me already. They done hooked me just off the soundtrack alone. And then like seeing the acting and seeing like the storyline. I love how they put a modern twist onto the show, and it's like focused like in today's time. So you know what I'm saying? Like you saw like him getting the Uber to Bel-Air, and Jazz, instead of being like his friend, was the Uber driver, and that's how they linked up. I don't want to tell the show if y'all ain't seen it. Spoiler alert, you know what I'm saying? But
you got to watch another.
But I mean, I figured they would do something like that though. It only made sense because you can't make it modern day, but then still put. You know what I mean? The old feel. I mean, you still got the old feel. I figured they would still have the old feel and some of the stuff that happened in the past on there, but they would add a twist. That was really only right. And then you got Will producing it. I mean, come on, bro. What did we expect? And he got a lot of anger built up from Jada, so he had to put us all into this project.
I am gonna say this. That venom and that vitriol that ALC had for Kanye in the first segment, in the first topic, I need that same venom and vitriol for Carlton. That nigga, he trash.
Carlton is
trash.
Listen, Carlton is OD. He was terrible on.
He was horrible on what you call it. Just
he was terrible
hilarious
on the original until him and Will finally became like friends.
To be loved by anyone.
It took him a while to kind of develop that brother like relationship on the original show, you know. But it was a little bit more lighthearted.
On
here is like hardcore. I don't like
spirited. Like
I'm gonna do everything to sabotage you. You know. Oh yeah, Will and took his girl. You know, like he did.
Can I also keep it real though? And it's this terrible. I don't know but I was looking at Lisa, and I'm like, Nia Long.
Yeah.
This is away from Nia Long. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. How many young ones you gonna find that looks better than Nia Long, man? I'm saying Nia Long is iconic, bro. Like, I mean, it's gonna be hard to top that.
You do look good though. Hillary. I do like, and another thing that I do like about the show is more dark skin complexion people. I think that was a dope.
I thought you was getting ready. I thought you was getting ready to say where I thought you was getting ready to go.
What?
I'm gonna tell you something else I like about this show is the depth of the characters.
Yeah.
Especially Hillary is another great example, because on the previous one, you know, she was just ditzy. You know, she was ditzy and talked about Trevor and all that stuff. There was like no substance. Yeah. But at least on this one, it's a conflict with her and Unveiled. I mean, it's a conflict. You know, like there's some substance. You know, there's some substance there. The only two people so far who really haven't had any to much development is Jeffrey and Ashley.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think that's gonna be something that's gonna come later in the show, because if you look at it on the original show, Ashley's character started to develop a little later. You saw a few things in the beginning, but the jokes from Jeffrey and then how Ashley started to grow when she started to become into her own, you know what I mean? That's when we started to really know more about Ashley. So I feel like that's gonna be something that's gonna come later. I want to know if they're gonna like feature some of the original cast somewhere along like in the show down the road. Yeah, like a cameo down the road.
I think what they're gonna do is they're just gonna take maybe original, like some storylines or like little Easter eggs from old stories.
You can
plug
see
them
it.
in.
You can
like
see
I mean,
it.
they're doing it now.
Yeah,
but like I don't know if they're gonna play Tonto or jump on it, like try to like squeeze that in.
You never know, man. It'll be dope to see like
that would be cool.
It would be dope, like to see.
You can see when he turned his jacket inside out. You know,
That was dope. I love that. I love that part when he turned his jacket.
I mean, that whole part was iconic on the original show, though. So
I love how it came about. Like, I don't know if that's originally what happened, because I feel like that it didn't happen like that.
No, he just did. In the original, he just did it.
He just did it. But she actually like spilled something on his jacket, and then he couldn't wear it on the front side, so he flipped it in. He was like, hold on, and flipped it inside out, and it looked dope. And you know what I'm saying? That's how that came about on the show. So I thought that was a clever way to kind of incorporate that into the show. And it actually had some purpose behind it. It wasn't just him turning it inside out because it looked cool. It was because she actually wasted something on his jacket and he had to turn it inside out. That's just something simple that was kind of like clever to me. You know what I'm saying? What else? I was going to say something else about the show. Y'all go ahead. I'll think of it.
I was just gonna say shout out to the frat in the show.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna for y'all frat. Like, what y'all think about the the representation in the show? You know what I'm saying? That was gonna be my question.
Hey, anytime the frat get shown off in a good light, positive brothers doing some positive things. It was, I ain't got no problem. I know
a lot of people. I saw some people in uproar about it, so I wanted to see what you guys was thinking, how y'all was feeling about it.
It wasn't like Mu Gamma Psi from Stomp the Yard, was it?
No. I ain't got no problems. I ain't got no problem with it.
Yeah, but again, going back to Carlton, man, that boy, that John is crazy, bro. And then like the white dudes and his friends.
I'm sorry. That bothers me though. That I'm just saying in general. In general, I'm never. Not like I have umpteen or millions of white friends or anything, but I'm sorry. I'm just not comfortable with them saying that word. Period.
Yeah, just how quick he was to like defend them and be like, hey, chill out. We have a bunch of songs with people saying it. How can you not expect them to say it? And
man.
I think like with this iteration of Carlton, it's kind of like a thing of, he's kind of like a more fleshed out version of Carlton, because Carlton was always kind of like this Black Republican, it's like they never did kind of go incredibly in depth with just how whitewashed or how Oreo-ish, Carlton's character really was. Like the most Oreo thing he did in the show outside of be a Black Republican was like that episode where the police hemmed them up and he kept on defending the police because like he hadn't been able to be thrust into a situation where he had to think about the context of police brutality and his blackness up until that point. A show like this gets to kind of like show that a guy who kind of grows up in affluence and surrounded by majority white friends, how he might think more of the friendship of his white counterparts and absolve them. I hate to use absolve over and over again in this show, but like kind of like forgive them for like some of their worst tendencies rather than hold them accountable for, being racially insensitive. And that's the kind of person I think that a person who grows up in that environment might actually do.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's true. Well, look, I can't wait till I can get the chance to see it. I got some shows that I gotta watch tonight anyway, so hopefully I can get to it between tonight and tomorrow. And I got a couple off days, so we gonna see. Well, moving along, getting to some more topics. We got the verses. So we recently had two verses, one with music and who else was it? I don't even remember. That lets you know that it really wasn't Anthony Hamilton. Oh, come on, man. Now you are the donkey. Face ass. But we had that one, and then we also had Allen Iverson and T-Mac. So, question, really kind of like a two-part question when we get into the verses. One, of course, did anybody happen to catch those verses? And then two, a question that was posed, that was brought upon us earlier. Do the verses have as much stability, validity, whatever that they had before when we were still fresh in the pandemic? Like, are we really paying attention to them, or is it more so artists who are kind of washed away, who we're not thinking about, trying to get a little bit of a check? What y'all think?
I watched most of the Anthony Hamilton versus music Soul Child one. And for me, it went about kind of how I thought it was going to go. It was one of those situations where, and it's just my opinion, music has the hits. You know, his pen game is unquestioned. But if we're talking about actual just raw singing talent, man, Anthony Hamilton blows him completely out of the water. But those hits that music was able to keep playing, that's what kept him in it. And Anthony Hamilton just simply does not have um
Star
the
power.
hits, quote unquote, or if you want to say star power, but the hits that music does. But if you just want to go somewhere and just hear good singing and take your lady, take your old lady somewhere, and the mood gonna be set, and he gonna set the mood, and all you gotta do is just slide in there. I mean, and the Hamilton.
You just got to slide in there, do it. You don't need.
It's kind of like a thing, whenever
You
you
guys are
hear
so juvenile.
Anthony Hamilton's velvety voice, maybe you're whisked away to 1875, and you're a sharecropper in Mississippi, like who's busting up the shiffer robe. And then when you hear Music Soul Child, you are a cockeyed dude that basically likes to hear him a lot. But like the argument that I made with all this is that, like, it's kind of like Verzuz is cool, and like, I'm not trying to take away from the artistry of those two brothers, because like they got great music. But Rob, you choked up over that thing. My bad. But like, I don't want to take away from the artistry of the brothers, but like, I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like Verzuz was cool when it was, hey, we stuck in the house, and like, Babyface and Teddy Riley want to throw us a concert real quick. But now it's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to say that they drying up, but it's like, it feel like it has been sometimes, that basically, and I ain't trying to call like these brothers has-beens, but sometimes it just feels like old acts who are trying to catch a check right now, and like it's not as interesting. It's like have they cashed? Is this a cash cow that's basically dried up? That's what I be thinking about a lot of times, because like I didn't have to watch this. This wasn't like the showdown of all time that like I gotta hear these two dudes go bar for bar. A lot of times the matchups don't even feel like they're good matchups to me.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like when I saw it initially on Facebook, and you know how you be scrolling through Facebook and you see somebody Photoshop Friday, and they put Chris Tucker, they put Mike Epps and all them in there. I thought this shit was Photoshopped. I was like, Music Soul Child of Anthony Hamilton. Who the fuck was gonna watch that? And then I see some of my cousins on there talking about, oh, this was a great versus. I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers really had a versus. Like, I'm not finna watch that shit. That's almost similar to watching 3-6 versus Bone Thugs and Harmony. Yeah, those are two groups that we grew up listening to. But I mean, just come on now. Even though 3-6 has a lot of samples,
the niggatry of that night was very entertaining.
It was at an all-time high. No cap. But I just didn't see myself like, bro, I gotta tune into this like it was when we hear Jeezy and Gucci Mane finna step on stage, you know what I mean? Or whoever else was on stage, you know what I mean? And the level of the level of hoodetry on that one was about to take over.
That word, bro.
Hey man, don't put me on spot. What's wrong with you, brother?
P-R-Y, hoodetry.
Black History Month. You can't bring your own brother down.
I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't even know they had a verse until y'all mentioned it. So that lets you know everything you need to know from me. Like, I love Music Soul Child and Anthony Hamilton. I have nothing against them. I love their music. I think they're both great artists, but I don't think they're versus worthy, in my opinion. I just don't think they're the caliber of artists that would bring in people of both multiple generations. Like, I don't think the Gen Zers are checking for Music Soul Child and Anthony Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think if Verzuz really, I mean, I get it. I don't think they really care. You know, they've had so much success over the past that having artists like Anthony Hamilton and Music Soul Child on there doesn't really hurt them because they've had 1 million viewers before. But in my opinion, if they want to continue the success and enhance the success that they've had, they'll try to get bigger artists on there, you know. And I know another thing is like you have to have those artists sign off on it and want to be on the show. So, you know, that's another thing, you know, can they get the level of artists that we all want to see on the show?
I think it's part that, and it's part, you know, wanting to get some of the bigger artists on there. Some of the bigger artists, like what you heard Jay-Z say, I don't feel like nobody can match up to me. There's nobody song-wise or bar for bar that can match up to me. I think that's another thing. A lot of people's, I don't want to say egos, but I mean, that's what it is. A lot of people's egos.
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, it's ego, but I kind of understand it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't.
I understand it in certain people, but I mean, I feel like Jay-Z can't say that.
It'll be entertaining, I guess, and if people still want to see it.
I guess that's my issue. My issue with it. I mean, me personally, I actually love Verzuz. My only issue, I'm not gonna say my only issue, but my main issue with Verzuz, and I guess it's a microcosm of going to a concert in general. Give you a perfect example. We say Verzuz with Anthony Hamilton and Music Soul Child. They'll say, you know, on the flyer starts at 7:00.
Mm-hmm.
I tune in at 7:00 thinking, okay, we finna go. I see DJ here, DJ, you know, B flat versus, you know, DJ Zodiac, you know, for an hour and a half. And dog, I don't want to see that.
But it's just like a concert, though.
Like I just said,
it's just like a concert. They're the. It's like you're tuning in to watch a concert.
To me, where they lost the luster of Verzuz was when it went corporate. Because when it started on Instagram, it was more organic. It was like, bam, hey, we finna go live. I'm finna send you this request. Bam, we live. Okay. That's why to me, the greatest one was Lil Jon versus T-Pain, because both of them they were characters. I mean, they had high energy. They were going back. No, Jonathan. I mean, but it was fun. It was fun. It was spontaneous. They were going back and forth. They understood it was entertainment. They didn't take it serious. And I think too many artists, they take themselves too serious. Like, you know, you're talking about a Jay. Like, dog, he's widely recognized as, you know, one of the greatest, or if not the greatest rapper of all time. Dog, okay. Are you too cool? You too cool just to get on there and just play? It ain't like you got to rap. You know what I'm saying? Just play your song. Bam. You'll have people writing in the comments, we love Hov the greatest, blah, 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 blah. But are you too cool? You know what I'm saying? Just to play your record. If you would sign off to it, probably you versus Nas would be ridiculous. It would probably break all kind of records, and then
we want to see him versus Lil Wayne. We don't want to see him versus Nas.
But my point is, like, because there's history there. True. And if you have them in the same building and allow them the microphone to be able to talk about, hey man, this is what happened when this is what happened when this. Okay, this is how we pieced that beef up or whatever. Allow them to go back and talk. Tell them a little insight into what, you know, into what happened. I mean, dog, at the end of the day, understand you're an entertainer. You wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the people that supported you, dog. Don't take yourself too seriously.
I mean, I can understand that, but also when you think about Jay-Z, you gotta think of Jay-Z is a mogul. He's a businessman. I feel like ultimately he probably doesn't want to do it because he would rather do it himself, like on his own platform. And that's all that to me, that's probably what it boils down to. My favorite verses, if we talking about verses, was Snoop Dogg and DMX. I thought that one to me was an iconic one. That it was fun, it was lighthearted. You got to see DMX, on stage going hard. Snoop, of course, Snoop is Snoop. He gonna be funny and he the cool, uncle. So I thought that battle to me was hands down probably the best that I've seen just from an entertainment perspective. You know what I'm saying? But again, like going back to, I think if they could go back to getting artists, I don't think we'll see a Jay-Z on there. I could see like Lil Wayne, I could see T.I. said numerous times that he wants to do it, so if they can get some artists like that, and if you're gonna do R&B, you want to get some of the top artists, maybe you do a group battle shit. I don't know.
They gonna get
do Omarion and them versus
them folks can't even stand each other, cuz.
I don't know what you gonna do, cuz but if you're gonna do that type of music, get some bigger artists, man. Like I know Chris Brown and Usher, that's been a topic of conversation. We may not never see that, but that'd be dope. But I just feel like ultimately the biggest thing is just the caliber of the artist. Like, no, as good as Music Soul Child and Anthony Hamilton are, people just ultimately, unless you're like a diehard fan of them or you love that type of music, and that's something that you listen to daily, that's just it's not a draw. It's not a big draw. And again, I don't think Verzuz really cares that much. I could be wrong, because they've had artists like them on the show before, and they keep getting those artists. So I don't think it's a big issue for them. But I think if they want their platform to continue to grow, they need to try to get bigger artists. And how that happens, I don't know, but they got to figure it out. And I honestly think maybe it should be more mainstream, like more streamlined. Instead of, I get the organic part, but you also had issues where you couldn't hear people's music and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they had tons of
that was interesting and fun watching Teddy Riley struggle like that because he didn't know,
but not in a good way though.
Yeah,
not in a good way.
I think it should be more streamlined and they should be more on point with timing and stuff like that. And I think that's gonna help them ultimately. Like maybe they can even take it past social media and actually have a show, a full-on production, and that comes on TV or something. You never know. Like it could be big. BET, I could see BET picking it up. Like it'll be dope, man.
Verzuz feels like Thriller boxing. It feels like it's just this diet variation of something we really want to see. It feel like a lesser version of like that lip sync battle they be having on like a FX network. It just ain't got I don't know. It was charming when it was only social media and you could tune in. Now it just feels as if it's just a minute away from being sponsored by like, I don't know, Procter and Gamble or some shit. And like to your point, it would be best if like they had more, it would be more developed and structured if it had a bigger backing behind it. But like the best part of it was when it was just us vibing with us, so it's like,
yeah,
how do you replicate that kind of chemistry, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I just go ahead and just take it more, make it more mainstream. You know what I'm saying? That's the direction. I feel like they're too much on the fence about what they want to do, and that's why it's like losing its luster. Either you want it to be really mainstream, or you want it to be more organic and more, more urban, I guess, for lack of better words. And if that's the case, then keep it that way. But if you really wanted to hit, make it mainstream. Hell, bring fucking Taylor Swift and and whoever.
What the hell? On to the next topic.
Yeah, for real.
On to the next topic. I said Taylor Swift. What the hell?
Get that boy up out of here. Get that boy up out of here. They got Ben Simmons up out of here.
You gotta be all inclusive, cuz. Come on now. Diversity. Y'all gonna get
Listen. This the one thing we don't want that unseasoned chicken in, because we good. We good.
Hey,
keep
man,
them raisins in the potato salad, motherfuckers over there on
you
this
wanted
side.
to be mainstream,
Straight.
going to make it what it is, cause
On to the next topic, man. So your boy Ben Simmons.
Hold on, wait. Taylor Swift versus Keisha Cole.
Man, Ben Simmons, dog.
you know what I'm saying? Come on.
Like Taylor Swift dropping hits and Keisha Cole just want to fight. Like
Taylor Swift versus Kanye. Fuck out of here.
You heard it here first. Hey, pay me my damn money. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
you right. You ain't gonna see it.
All I know is y'all be sure to check out the They Gonna Feel Me Instagram page, because the way we just cut that boy off is definitely gonna be real throughout this week. All right. So going into this next topic, your boy Ben Simmons then finally got shipped up out of Philly. He done made his way over to Brooklyn. James Harden then got shipped up out of Brooklyn and made his way to Philly. So with all of the drama and everything that was going on both sides, of course we knew about the drama with Ben Simmons, but then the newfound drama that we found out about your boy James Harden. What do y'all think about the trade? What does this mean for their legacy, especially a player like James Harden? What does this mean for their legacies as well, getting traded in the way that they wanted to get out of there?
Let me get my non-sports guy comment out of the way. Yeah, Ben Simmons seems soft. You know, maybe when he go to this next team, he'll finally play. And like Harden, I don't know. Like it sucks the idea of you going to another team and still not get a ring. So like, you know, good luck, nigga. That's all I gotta say. You know, good luck. You know?
I just knew you was finna bring Taylor Swift back into this.
I guess that's a great thing, but like, you know what I mean? You go into like, don't change the fact that the West usually be better than the East.
They swiftly traded him.
You know.
But me personally, I'm just glad they traded him. Like, it's been an ongoing thing. It's like the man ain't been playing all season. It's like, just trade the dude, bro. And they got like probably the best, you know, one of the best players they could get for him. So I mean, it worked out to me for both teams. I think the Nets got defense, which they drastically need, because they can't fucking guard a they can't guard a stick figure. You know what I'm saying? Like they just look really bad. Teams putting up 120 points on them on a nightly basis. Bad team. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Ben Simmons is going to help them defensively. He's one of the best defenders in the league. You know, whether you like him or not, the dude is an elite defender. And I think Philadelphia gets that score that they need. You know, Harden in the same player that he was, you know, when he was with the Rockets. He's kind of tapered off a little bit, but I think that's because of him having to become more of a distributor, share the rock with KD and Kyrie. And so
it's because of like him eating wings and wanting to hang out in strip clubs.
Yeah. Him having to take a back seat to two guys that also
Houston
like
is a very live city, man.
I mean, do I love the way that these players are forcing their way out of situations now? I don't know. I've got a kind of like a two-sided like kind of look insight on this. You know, in a way, I kind of feel like teams can ship a player off whenever they want to, and we never say a word. You know, sometimes like oh boy, Halliburton. He was a prime example. He said he was going to put the team on his back like 2 weeks before, and the dude gets traded to the Pacers, bro. That's just that to me. That's crazy, bro.
Don't forget about your boy Harrison Barnes. Found out he got traded while in the game.
You know what I'm saying? People want to talk about James Harden and him forcing his way out of a situation, but when you see situations like that, like you can kind of understand why these players have to take their own career into their own hands, bro.
I guess
like,
put the team on
it was no reason for them to trade Tyrese Halliburton. The dude is a baller. He could get you a triple-double, you know, on a nightly basis if he really tried hard enough. And so they traded him for Sabonis, like he's okay. You know, he's a decent big man. Is he a game changer? No, you know. But anyway, going back to Harden's situation, that's why I say, like, him forcing his way out of the Nets and out of a situation that he didn't like, I don't really hate him for it. But on the flip side, it's like it brings into question: is this going to be the new norm? Like, is this what we're going to see from now on? Like, when a superstar doesn't like a team, are they going to cry and stop playing and force their way out of a situation? Is that going to be the new norm? And to me, that prevents a problem as well, because it's like you're robbing the fans of some of these people are season ticket holders that want to see you play. You know what I'm saying? Is that selfish? Yes, kind of. But at the same time, you signed a contract to play basketball and you get paid a shit ton of money to do it, and you don't want to play because you just don't like your situation. So, I mean, ultimately, if we're going to just go back to the trade, I thought it was a good trade for both teams. I think Harden's going to impact the 76ers in a positive way because he brings another scorer. He takes some pressure off of Embiid because they have a bunch of streaky scores. Tobias Harris, he can get you not. Don't even get me started on him because I bet on him a couple of times. That boy is one of the streakiest scorers that I've ever seen in my life. He'll go out there and get you 25-30 one night, and he'll score 5 points the next night. So, they definitely need somebody else because he's not it. He gets paid a lot of money. And like I said, Ben Simmons, I think he's going to be that defender that the Nets need if Kyrie can play games. I don't even know what his situation is. But when Durant gets back, Ben Simmons and Durant, I think that's going to be a good, 1-2 punch because they got offensive defense. I love to see them in the pick and roll. And so I think it's going to be
I don't know. I don't see that chemistry working.
My thing is, I'm gonna let you get into yours, Rob. My thing is this. When I first heard that, when the news first started to break that James Harden wanted out, because we've all been, we've all been saying how we wanted Philly to get rid of, not even to say get rid of, but just go ahead and, do what Ben Simmons want and just trade him away because he doesn't want to be there. We've been saying that, right? But my whole thing with the Harden thing, okay, you wanted to get out of Houston. You knew you weren't going to win in Houston, so you were ready to leave. You said you wanted to compete for championships. So you said that you wanted to go to Brooklyn. Now all of a sudden you want to go to Philly, but you said that you wanted to go to Brooklyn. And then, to hear that you wanted to get traded out, my whole thing was I thought in the beginning, because we all go off of our own narratives and what we think is happening, I thought in the beginning that, hey, he wants to be gone because of everything that's going on with Kyrie. KD is injured left and right. And, he's just not liking the way the chemistry's going. We all know Steve Nash cannot coach, just call it how you see it. But then when you start to find out that, he's upset because he wants an ISO offense, he wants to have the ball in his hand 24/7, and he's upset because they're calling plays for KD and not calling plays for him. It's just making me look at him more and more like that player that we're trying to label Ben Simmons as a soft player. That's what it kind of makes me look at him as. Even though, you're trying to take your career in your hands, we appreciate players like a Giannis who stay around and they get a championship, or even someone like a LeBron who stayed for so many years, couldn't get a championship, and then he didn't go to the best team. He went to a team that barely made the playoffs the year before, and they turned around and went to the finals. You know what I mean? But, it's almost like you just chasing the ring at this point. And then I don't even know if y'all saw it, but him and that connection between him and Daryl Morey is just so irritating because some news popped up that they was finna try and get Mike D'Antoni as the head coach of Philly. They was finna try to get him to replace Doc Rivers. So it's almost like, bruh, this shit is it's crazy, but it just makes me look at him as a completely different player. And then if he goes and he still doesn't win and this actually blows up and doesn't end how you expect it to, it's just going to make him look even worse of a player. I feel like, going back and looking at that trade, Brooklyn definitely won that trade because they got everything that they needed. But that's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn won that trade. Just to keep it real, they got Ben Simmons, they got shooting and Curry. I've never been a James Harden fan. I'm sorry. I don't respect his game, man. I mean, it's like the kid that goes out and that all they wants to do is shoot the ball. That's it. That's all they want to do. Just shoot the ball. don't look for them defensively because they're not gonna give you anything defensively. I mean, straight sieve on defense, and then he legendarily. I mean, if you can just look at him. Legendarily out of shape. I mean, all the time. That's just a classic. I play when I want to guy. And to me, he has too many holes. He has too many holes in his game, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it as like a soap opera waiting to happen because Embiid is a finger pointer. We saw with this past situation with Ben Simmons how two-faced he is. From one point you talking about you want to get the team together, whatever, and then as soon as he gone, you put the meme up. I want to make
Well,
sure.
I kind of feel like you can't hold that against him though, because he there to win games, and then you know what I mean. You got this dude sitting out because he can't take it. Because I mean, when you look at it, and this is my thing, y'all can shake your head no all you want, but this is my thing, and this is why I agree with what Shaq says a lot of the time. We talk about how old players, and I hate it, but we talk about how old players always say back in my day, back in my time. And Shaq, even today, he talked about it, how, David Robinson bust his ass. Hakeem Olajuwon bust his ass. Told him, you ain't nothing till you win a championship. You got to play harder. You got to do this better. You got to do that better. You got to be able to take constructive criticism. These are dudes who played the game before, and they're telling you, hey, you need to develop some type of jump shot. I'm not saying you got to come out here and shoot threes, but you need to add another piece to your game because you attacking the rim. If I guard the rim, we saw what happened to Giannis. They started just guarding the rim, daring him to shoot. He wasn't doing nothing. And then when he finally added a piece to his game, he became better. So that's all they were saying. And then Joel Embiid out here busting his ass and you passing the ball on an open layup. I mean, come on. And then you stirring up all of this because your coach says he thinks he can win without you. Prove him wrong.
I hear you. And ordinarily, I probably would possibly agree with you. But to me, that's rich coming from Shaq. Because I'm old enough to remember Shaq playing. I'm old enough to remember Shaq being a liability at the free throw line. All them years clanking.
Being out of shape.
And
being out of shape.
And
even Kobe said he didn't put in all this.
Exactly. Kobe talked about that man and his work ethic like a dog. Even though I was a huge Shaq fan, and I told a story on here that them picking Kobe over Shaq was one of the main reasons why I stopped being a Laker fan. But I think too many times, many of these former athletes, they forget, hey, while they throwing rocks and stones, we remember when you were playing too, bro.
Charles Barkley can't never talk about nobody being.
If you look at Shaq when he was in Orlando, then look at Shaq when he was in Miami. Shaq in Orlando coming up the court. I'm talking about handling the ball, running up the court, agile. Shaq in Miami, bumbling up the court, 330-something pounds, looking fat and sweating grease. You know what I'm saying?
But when they're like an older Shaq, though,
it don't. I mean, but still,
it don't matter. Look at today's NBA.
I mean, even you can. I take your 2 points on that, but even when Kobe had his spotlight little feature that he had on ESPN Plus, he said that about Ben Simmons as well, and he said that about Giannis. He said both of their games are great, but they're both going to have to develop a jump shot if they want to be successful and win at the highest level in this league. That's all everybody was saying about Ben Simmons. You got to develop a jump shot, and you have to get better. I'm not saying I oppose shooting the threes and all of this, but I just think that when somebody gives you constructive criticism, you have to get off your soapbox. We did it to LeBron. Yeah. LeBron came out there when he first went to Miami, shit the bed in the fourth quarter, and now he's one of the best closers that we have in the league because he's been through it. You got to go through it. Now, will he be better in Brooklyn? That time will tell. But if we get the same exact Ben Simmons, are we still going to be able to defend him?
But here's my thing. I get Ben Simmons' perspective as well because his team completely turned their back on him. This is a team. If you look at them during like the stretch, like during the stretch when they was playing those games, they wouldn't even shake the man's hand when he was at the free throw line. Like they wasn't even encouraging him, wasn't doing nothing. They just completely like turn their back on this man. Like, why would you want to play for a team like that? Even if he is missing free throws. Hell, Giannis was shooting terrible from the free throw line last year. You ain't see his teammates talking about, man, I don't have faith in you. You ain't going, you know what I'm saying? Like, just basically looking in disgust. Like he never went through that with his team. You know what I'm saying? But Ben Simmons out here, he got his coach talking about, I don't know if I can win with him. You ain't see Budenholzer talking about, I don't know if I can win with Giannis because he ain't got no damn jump shot. It's just we have to stop criticizing Ben Simmons so much. Let's shine some spotlight on the coach and the team, because Doc Rivers is trash. Let's be honest, bro. The dude
I will agree with you on that.
He didn't won one championship, and people just put him. He even think he in the light of Greg Popovich. Dog, if you don't get the hell out of here, you are not no Greg Popovich. When that reporter asked him that question, he said, "You wouldn't ask Pop this." What, bro? You don't won one championship. You about as egotistical and freaking delusional as your players, as Paul Pierce trash ass. Get trash ass. I said it. The truth.
They don't love you like they love Kobe.
The damn trash.
They don't love you like that.
So I'm just saying, like, I get it. Ben Simmons, I do agree. He needs to develop his game. He needs to work harder. I do agree with people on that, you know, and we'll see if he does that. But to me, his teammates and his coach turned their backs on him. They didn't even give the man a chance. You talking bad about him after you lose a series? Hell, everybody loses a series. It's not the end of the world, bro. Like, you should be uplifting him, saying, "Hey, we're gonna get better. We're gonna come back out here. We'll, next year we're gonna win." Not saying, "Hey, I don't know if I can win with this guy." What kind of shit is that? Like, what kind of coach is that? I don't want to play for no coach like that. That talk about, I don't know if I can win with him. Why would I want to play for you, bro? Like, you done lost my trust. I don't trust you because you don't trust me. And that's just how I look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Still seems
I feel worse about Harden than I do about Ben Simmons' situation.
And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this also about Ben Simmons. And we kind of gloss over, and people kind of make fun. People kind of make fun of it. But over the summer, what was the big thing for over the summer? Mental health. We talked about Naomi Osaka. We talked about Simone. We talked about Simone Biles. In basketball, confidence is everything. Confidence is everything. And once you lose your confidence, I mean, it'll have you out there on the court, second guessing yourself, passing up layups, easy shots that you think, would you think it will be easy, but if I'm in my head, I'm not gonna take them shots. And I remember vividly. It was Gilbert Arenas. It was Gilbert Arenas who talked about it, and that's when I listened to Gilbert Arenas talk about it, I'm like, you know what? He's actually making a whole bunch of sense, because he was saying, watch how nobody comes to support him. Watch how none of his teammates comes to support Ben Simmons, even at like Reese was saying, at the free throw line. Just watch how nobody supports him. You want to talk about this and you want to talk about that. I'll give you another example. How easy it is for somebody to lose confidence. Markelle Fultz, first round, first overall draft pick, got hurt or whatever. It got to a point where they had to reconstruct his whole jump shot. And it almost looked like that boy had never played basketball a day in his life. But confidence and mental health, I mean, people overlook it.
And you even look at, like, we brought LeBron up. He's a prime example of that down the stretch, where he had times where he didn't want the ball in his hand. He would pass the ball all the time at the end of the game because he didn't want it in his hand, because he was too scared to either A, be put on the free throw line because he knew he wasn't the best free throw shooter, or B, he didn't think he could make the last shot. He didn't want to be criticized for taking the last shot and missing it. People criticize him to no end. They still criticize him to this day.
You remember, he had to go down to Miami. You remember when he first got down to Miami, Dwayne Wade used to do all them press conferences with him. He would, and I used to think that was so weird. Like, dude, why do you need Dwayne Wade to come to the press conferences, you know what I'm saying, with you and talk with you until he finally won that championship? Then he got the confidence. He's like, okay, this is what it takes to win a championship. Okay, now I'm finna go back to Cleveland. I'm finna go win one there. Now, bam, hey, I got confidence. I'm finna go to Los Angeles. I'm finna go win one. But it took him learning how to win because he was nurtured up and he was shown, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Think about it. There's nobody on the 76ers team that has really won anything worth the damn.
I was about to say.
Nobody on that team. Don't nobody know how to win. Ain't no veteran there that actually won anything to be able to grab Ben Simmons like, hey, man, this is how we do it. Because if you think about it, for all them years, they lost and they stockpiled draft picks. They were talking about trust the process. If your best players and the leaders on your team are young, they're super young, it's destined not to work out. It's just not, because they learn as they go. They learn it.
Yeah, I know we got to end the podcast, but that's what I was going to say. I mean, another thing people got to understand, the dude is still young. He's a young player. Like, it's not like he's 30 years old. Like, he still has plenty of room to grow. And he was hurt for a whole season, I believe, before he even had a chance to play a game, sort of like Embiid. Like, it was a period of time where the 76ers were drafting players and they were hurt for their first season of their career, and they had to wait to play the next season. So I don't even think he's been playing basketball for about 3 or 4 years, maybe in the NBA.
He's been playing for about 5, actually.
About 5. So, I mean, like, he's still a young player. He's still developing. And again, like, to Rob's point, nobody on that team outside of maybe Danny Green and Doc Rivers has won anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. And those players aren't players, or maybe Doc Rivers, but Danny Green, to me, I don't know. He may be one of those guys in the locker room, but he doesn't strike me as that guy that you go to and is going to be, like, this is what you do. This is how you win, like, type of guy, that's going to take you under his wing. So, he doesn't have that veteran leadership. He doesn't have that mentor. That person is gonna push him. Like, Joel Embiid can't push nobody, because he don't work hard. He didn't work hard for a long time. Yeah, he just finally started working, but the criticism with him was staying healthy. He was overweight for a long period of time. So how the hell are you going to tell Ben Simmons what to do, bro? You can't tell. He's balling out his mind. But that's the one thing I dislike. You're going to tell somebody what they need to be doing, and you just now started doing what you need to be doing, bro. Like, you can't tell him what to do. He's going to look at you with the side eye, because he's going to be like, well, damn, you was just eating Popeyes on the sideline. Now you want to tell me to have a work ethic, bro? Like, come on, dog. So, I mean, like, I just feel like really hope this next situation works out for him. I really think that him and KD is going to be, I can see them in the pick and roll. It's going to be tough. People are criticizing that decision, but I think they're going to be tough, bro. But anyway.
Well, it's going to be seen in the near future what's going to happen. So, but thank you guys for tuning in to another great episode of They Gon' Feel Me. You have now reached the end. If you stayed this long watching this video, either on Twitch or watching this video on YouTube when it dropped, we appreciate you.
To us on your favorite
podcast as well. So, again, as you see at the bottom, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave comments in there for us. Let us know some topics that y'all want us to talk about.
What's your favorite verses? Put it
in the comments. Give us some comments. Give us some topics. Everything. Show us as much love as y'all possibly can. But again, as we always say, thank y'all for tuning in. And if you didn't feel us this time, had go. I guarantee you gonna feel us the next. Now get the fuck off my motherfucking screen.